Hi everybody, this is the baseball head, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, and of course, this is the baseball head too. Hopefully you'll like this video and subscribe and let me know what you think about this. So we're going to talk about the other team in baseball, in Major League Baseball, that's probably the second biggest disappointment, and that is the San Diego Padres. The Padres who knocked the Mets off in the wild card series last year are currently 37-41 as I do this video. They are six and a half games behind the third wild card, the final wild card, and 9.5 games behind the first place Arizona Diamondbacks. Now that doesn't tell you something. And they got a good manager. Bob Gehren's a good manager, for a long time, and the frustration level is getting so bad that players are starting to complain there. And they tend to complain anyway. The Padres are one of these teams that there's a lot of infighting there. There's something wrong with that team. I can't quite put my finger on it with them. They're always sort of going back and forth and pointing fingers. And most of the time it seems that they're pointing fingers at Fernando Tatis Jr. Now, he's come back from his suspension that he got last year, but he's actually played pretty well. Hopefully he's not doing any more monkey business, if you know what I mean. But here we go. I'm going to go through every player on this team and give you my assessment. But let me read you Xander Bogaerts, who signed a big contract with the Padres this offseason after being with the Red Sox for a long time. Red Sox did not seem to take issue with him leaving, which was interesting. This is from NBCSportsBoston.com. Bogaerts believes the Padres' struggles aren't due to lack of effort, but rather maybe trying to do too much. Whatever the case may be, the former Boston Red Sox shortstop wasn't pleased after dropping a home series to a Nationals club that's in the midst of a rebuild. Quote, "Come on, man. We're playing the Nationals. I don't think they have playoff aspirations. I mean, they obviously have a young team and they fight. They do fight. But I wouldn't say anyone picked the Nationals being the playoffs, so you have to beat the teams that you have to beat." Interesting. The whole talk of the whole year pretty much has been about the offense. I mean, if we're going to be real about it, it's been on us, man. The pitching has done nothing to do with it. It's not how you start, he continued. It's how you finish. So we still have a chance to turn that around and end on a really strong note, but we have to start. We have to. There's not a lot of tomorrows left, The season's coming to an end. I mean, not soon, but it is. If we keep tacking on losses, it's going to come by quick. There's a lot of cliches there. A lot of cliches. This is the kind of stuff that players that are on bad teams always talk about. There's these kinds of rambling cliches. Today's the most important game of the day, of the year. Stuff like that. But the offense has been pretty lousy, on the Padres. But do we as Met fans feel sorry for them? No, we don't. Let's see. They had Austin Nola, the brother of Aaron Nola. He can't hit. He's hit 142. They brought in Gary Sanchez. Now, Gary does what he does. He's hit 7 home runs and 78 at-bats. That's what Gary does. But he's hitting 205, 270 on on-base percentage. Probably playing bad defense, by the way. I'm sure of it. Jay Cronenworth. This is a guy that's been a pretty good player. He drove in over 80 runs last year. He's got 26 RBIs so far in half a season. Terrible. Terrible. The former shortstop that's now playing second, Hai-Sung Kim. He's doing what he's doing. He's actually got 8 home runs, 26 RBIs. You don't expect the big production out of him. Xander Bogaerts. He is so far behind his career numbers. It's not even funny. In half a season, he's got 8 home runs and 27 RBIs. He's played 72 games. He is a 290 career hitter. He's hitting 256 currently. He's 20 points below his on-base percentage and 70 points below his slugging percentage. So if there's a big culprit in the middle of that lineup, he's the number one culprit amongst the next culprit, Manny Machado, who is way down in terms of his numbers. He's got currently 9 home runs, 33 RBIs. Now, he usually gets 35 home runs, 100 RBIs every year. And those numbers are way down. He's not going to hit that at his current pace. The only guy that seems to have really very good year is Juan Soto, who will be a free agent after next season. And his OPS plus, believe it or not, is 160. And he's still only 24 years old. He's going to get a massive contract when he becomes a free agent. Probably the second biggest contract in baseball history will go to him, I would think, next offseason. His numbers are kind of back online to where they've been. His RBI total is low. I don't know why it's been low the last couple of years, but it's been low. And the batting average is 273. But all the other numbers with him are very good. The on base is good. The slugging is good. His OPS is good. His OPS plus, like I said, is 160. He's doing rather well. Trent Grissom, his numbers are down. His OPS plus 90. Fernando Tatis Jr. has returned, as you know. He's played 58 games so far. His OPS plus is 148. He's got a lot of home runs. They got him playing right field, 36 RBIs. Can't rely on him long term. Matt Carpenter, who killed it with the Yankees. He killed the opposition when he played for the Yankees last year, and he's hit 178. Back to being a minor leaguer. Nelson Cruz, the ancient one, hitting 242. 414 slugging percentage. Not great. So really it comes down to the offense on this team. That seems to be the biggest culprit. And now let's talk about the pitching, which is rather interesting. Blake Snell, 4-6, 3.32 ERA, 15 starts, 81 innings pitched, 104 strikeouts. There was talk if the Padres don't do well, that they will sell. They will trade him. Who knows? Michael Wacha. This guy's had more lives than a cat, Michael Wacha. He's actually having a pretty good year. Yul Darvish, I think Yul Darvish has been put on the IL, so he's going to be out a little bit. And now, next up is Joe Musgrove, the greasy-eared one. You know, I think that he probably was doing something. The fact that Buck Showalter had said something to get him looked at during that last playoff game at Citi Field tells you everything you need to know. The only thing is the Mets waited too long to go after him. They should have went after him in the first inning when they saw that spin rate go up. He's pitched okay. I know he's been on the IL. He's missed some starts. We will be keeping an eye on him always. My eyes are always on him now to see how greasy his ears are. Of all the Mets getting caught with sticky hands, you think they would have... I know one thing. Joe, if your ears are getting that bad, you might invest in some kind of stock in Q-tips. I would say that. Seth Lugo, the former Met, he's pitched okay. You know, he's got 10 starts. I wonder if they're pitching him a lot. I couldn't tell you. Now, the bullpens in San Diego are always pretty good. San Diego always has good bullpens because there's never really any pressure there. If Heath Bell, who was a disaster here in New York and was average everywhere else but San Diego, that tells you how easy it is to pitch there and how easy it is to play. There's a reason why Tony Gwynn played there his whole career. Not because it was home, because it was easy. There's no pressure. Tony Gwynn, one of the great hitters of all time, I would submit that he would not have hit like he did if he was in New York or in Chicago like that. He would have had to deal with bad weather, and he was a big guy. And the pressure of having to deal with fans like myself and the demanding fans in New York City would not be nearly as easy on Tony as it would have been there in San Diego. Not saying anything bad about Tony. God rest his soul. One of my favorite players. It wasn't a man I used to love to watch and love to hit. Watch him hit. But he wouldn't have hit 3-something and had all his batting titles if he was in New York. So that's the one thing we know about San Diego. There's not a lot of pressure there, although there is a lot of pressure on this team because of the fact that they have spent $250 million on this team and they're the third highest team in baseball and one of the worst teams in the game right now. Now Josh Hader's pitching pretty good, no pressure. Just like no pressure in Milwaukee when he was there. Although he didn't pitch well last year when they brought him in there. But, you know, if you go through the numbers of the bullpen here in San Diego, Nick Martinez has pitched well, Brad Honeywell Jr. has pitched well, Steven Wilson, Tim Hill, they've all pitched well because there's no pressure there. Anybody can play where there's no pressure to win, no pressure to perform, no pressure to come in a big spot. And when there is no pressure, you're going to play well. Simple as that. And if you're talented, it's going to, you'll notice the difference. But now the manager, Bob Guerin, he has won Manager of the Years. I wouldn't say that that's the reason why they are playing so poorly. They played really well last year for him. But one thing that's the Padres have a reputation for, like I said, they like to point fingers at each other. That's been a problem that's been noticeable because it's happened on camera where Machado is going to Tatis. And there's been a lot of back and forth over the years with these players. So really the biggest problem with the Padres is leadership in that clubhouse. And it might be that some of these players are getting older. Manny Machado might be getting older. Let's take a look at Manny Machado one more time. He is 30 years old. How much more does he have left of the level of production that he has done in the first 10 years of his career? He's had a bit of a slow start. You wonder if he might be on the other side of 30. Who knows? Well, you let me know what you think about this video. The second biggest disappointment in Major League Baseball goes to the San Diego Padres. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to Baseball Hut 2. Thank you, and I'll see you later.